All right, say something. Say something again. All right, it's not picking you up. It's my new layout that I got. All right, go to the podcast because it should be up now and check for audio. Say something. Mm-hmm.
Dang. We really got to start testing these things before we stream, huh? Okay. So, you gonna turn down that game volume and we gonna be good? Alright. Should probably cut out the first couple minutes, but it's whatever.
Alright, I should see myself. I see the audio from that, and I did turn down the game volume, so there it goes. So the game volume should be down now.
Dope. Let me check that. Yep, it's good.
What's up, people? Let me go ahead and tweet this shit out real quick. Let me go to YouTube.
I gotta tweet it out too.
Should be down.
Start right now. Dope. Let me check that. We gotta get rid of these slow starts, man. Yep.
That's usually, I mean, what's up? There's really no way to test it, so.
I guess that's true.
Alright. We can see the chat. Hope you like the layout. Hey, check out the starting. You follow.
I see it. Like new donation, new follower, all this. It's good stuff.
All right, man. So Neo GameSpark's supposed to be popping in here a little bit later, but
yep.
What have you been up to, dude? Like, I know no one's in here yet, but we are doing a podcast. This is episode 9 of Final Dash Podcast. As per title to the topics, we're going to be going over a few things. And I'm your host, Dark Cloud, or DC Nerd Talks, however you want to call it. And this is my boy Takun. Introduce yourself, sir.
What's going on? It is Takun Iwatari. What am I doing? I am working. I'm still working on this damn Isle of Armor review for Sword and Shield. Not so much a review. I have something else in mind, but I'm working on that video. hoping to have it up by tomorrow, and then that'll free me up to start covering what's that Ninjala game coming up here on Thursday, or is it Wednesday? It's coming up soon.
Okay.
It's coming up soon. So yeah, I'm just trying to make way for that one, and I'm gonna be experimenting with the content on my channel, like the different styles, I guess. So that'll be fun. See what people react to. So I'm gonna let you know right now, Cloud. You misspelled Legends here.
Okay.
Yeah, you got one too many D's. No homo.
God damn it.
But anyways, we're doing this on Monday. This works better for Cloud. So that's dope. And I think in general, we might right now want to play with different days of the week as far as trying to find the best day for streaming these podcasts. So I apologize that it's not on Sunday like we would normally do, and please bear with us.
Yeah, please bear with us. Sorry, I haven't eaten all day, and this is like the only chance I got a chance to sit down.
Stuff in your face. All right.
I apologize. But
nah, don't sweat it.
Where was that? Oh yeah, I definitely have too many D's in there.
Anyways, there's, like I said, a good amount of topics to cover. Let me close my damn window. Hold up.
But in the meanwhile, I have been playing The Last of Us Part 2 on PS4. Not going to do any impressions here. That's going to go on my main channel. But I got to say, a lot of people are not going to like what I have to say about the game.
Damn.
Yeah, a lot of people are not going to like what I have to say about the game.
I'm not going to ask you too many questions because I know you want to save the surprise for your channel, but
it looks good. I'll say
it's interesting.
It looks good. It's a cool game. The concept, the art design, it's pretty cool. I mean, hey, that's what they wanted. That's what they got, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, I've been playing some of this. I haven't been really touching my Switch that much lately, to be completely honest with you. I haven't been touching it, and I've fallen off of Xenoblade Chronicles. I don't know what it is. Maybe because I've beaten it on Vita. I mean, I'm sorry, not Vita. 3DS and Wii. I don't think I want to play it again. And I don't know, like, usually sometimes, like a game, for instance, I played Grand Theft Auto on PS3. Then I played it again on PS4. Then I played it again on PC. And every time I played it, I felt like it was a graphical enough leap, or like something new mechanics that added to it. Not necessarily new mechanics, but I felt like there was something new to it, and it made me want to play more. This one, I don't feel like there. Yeah, I know some people are gonna be like, oh, there's the after stuff. Like, yeah, if you beat the game already, just go to like the 25-hour like after campaign. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, the graphics of the game, the resolution, and all the other stuff is not really keeping me excited or keeping me hyped, and I'm not feeling it.
I mean, there's other like fine tunings and like quality of life things in there, but I mean, you already beat the game twice, so I wouldn't be hard pressed about it. I mean, I get it. The only reason I had put it on hold is because I needed to focus more on, like I said, the Isle of Armor DLC video that I'm working on, and yeah, I mean, it just took a lot of damn work because there's 151 of those stupid fucking Diglets that you have to find, and I found all of them, so I could put that in the video.
How is the game? So the expansion? What is in the expansion? Sorry.
Bless you. So the expansion has some of the returning Pokemon that were originally cut from the Pokedex when they did the jump to Generation 8. Some of they're all catchable on Isle of Armor, depending on obviously like weather conditions, time of day, this and that. But so there's that, a bunch of returning Pokemon. There's one new Pokemon, which is kind of like the poster child for the DLC. There's, what's his name? Urshifu? Yeah, which you get as his pre-evolution first, and then you do some jank, and then make him evolve. And it's like, oh, the decisions you make in the DLC will decide what he evolves into. And I thought like I was gonna have to play like super carefully, and I thought there's gonna be like some moral compass decision that like determines what he evolves into. But no, it's literally like, here's the tower for this evolution, here's the tower for that evolution. Pick one, and it's like, oh, well, that's very straightforward.
Did
Yeah.
they add? So did they add any new Pokemons or anything like that?
Like I said, I think Urshifu's Cubfu and Urshifu are the only new ones, and then the rest are old Pokemon that were originally cut from the Pokedex and now have been added back in.
Okay.
And then there's some other things there, like they added some other mechanics to like make it easier to get optimal Pokemon for competitive play. Like there's the Gigantamax soup, which any Pokemon that has a Gigantamax form, you can give them that soup and they get to Gigantamax. And for those of you who were trying to get Gigantamax Pokemon before, it was a real pain in the ass. It was so bad. You could only catch them in the wild. You couldn't make them yourself. You couldn't breed them. You had to catch them in the dens, and even with time skipping, it could still take you several hours just to find a Gigantamax form. You catch it, and it's obviously not going to have the right IVs and nature that you want, and it was just so much effort to turn it into what you wanted it to be. And so, yeah, there's that, and like I said, a couple of other things in there. There's some new attacks. There's a move tutor, and he only teaches new attacks. These attacks have never been in the game before. So they're really trying
How are
to.
the animations to those new attacks?
I don't think I've had any of my Pokemon learn them yet, because there's like some new item that like some new currency you have to use to like get them, and I just haven't done it yet. But there, a lot of these changes are really for shaking up the meta as far as like the competitive VGC scene goes. So if you're deep into Pokemon, you're into the competitive scene, or have some interest in getting into there, a lot of these changes and a lot of these obviously returning Pokemon, it's a big deal for us. And then everyone else, like, you know, you get the new Pokemon. There's the story part of it, of the DLC, is super short, very short. Like yeah, it's not like other DLCs where it adds a ton of story content, but if you just wanted more area to explore that actually feels like what the open area in the main part of the game should have been, it's a lot of like fine tuning to, I guess, the original vision for the game, in my opinion. Then, like I said, a lot of adjustments made for Poke nerds like me.
How many hours do you have in the game now?
That's a good question. I'm looking it up right now. Give me a second.
Yeah, so again,
280 hours.
Late, this is episode 9 of Final Dash Podcast. I will be re-uploading this on the DC Nerd Talk, just in case if anybody missed out on it. Because I don't think a lot of people know that we're over here and know what we're all about. So I'm going to be re-uploading it there. I won't be doing that consistently. So if you want to watch or you want to see what's going on in Final Dash Podcast, you got to come over here on this side. Hopefully Neospark pops in, but getting Neospark on here is like trying to swat a fly with your hand.
I've done it before, man.
I have not, so.
But yeah, anyways, going into some of the topics that we have set aside, on my channel, I had made a video on specifically the expansion pass for Pokemon Sword and Shield, because people have bought the wrong expansion pass. For those that don't know, there's two separate versions, one for Sword, one for Shield, and some people, in like the rush of it, heat of moment, whatever, they bought the wrong version. And there was some articles going around the whole internet saying that Nintendo's not going to be refunding people if they buy the wrong expansion pass. So I was like, okay, let me make a video, show people how to buy the right one. it's
So is it true that
it's
Nintendo is not helping anyone that bought the wrong one?
no. Nintendo of America is issuing, I think, are they issuing refunds? They're helping people. They're
Why is
fixing it.
Nintendo so
They're
hard
fixing it.
on doing any type of like refunds? Why are they so difficult to deal with when it comes to this stuff? Remember the whole lawsuit thing of like that guy that pre-ordered the game and wanted a refund. He didn't even get a chance to play the game yet, but it's a game that was pre-ordered. It wasn't coming out the next day, and yet he still lost the lawsuit. He had to keep the game, and Nintendo did not give him his money back. And why is Nintendo so hard to deal with? Like I can't understand like a DLC. I mean a pre-order game that's downloaded, a download pre-order game. Like I don't understand why.
Oh, they're fixing the problem. You contact Nintendo of America and they're like, "Oh, you bought the wrong version." Okay, my bad. And then you get the right one.
So in retrospect, they are fixing it.
Yeah, they're fixing it now, even though there was that, like I said, bunch of articles. It wasn't just one website. Like every damn website was talking about how Nintendo's not issuing refunds. But this is obviously far less common knowledge. It's not as clicky as other articles, so didn't make the rounds. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's because most hardcore Nintendo fans don't speak about these type of things.
Nope,
Barrett.
they don't, but I did. I'm just putting that out there. And while I'm last Pokemon topic we got here, Game Freak is hiring 23 positions for developing a new entry in the Pokemon series. So, for those that don't know, Game Freak is a developer of Pokemon, and when they say they're hiring for a new entry in the Pokemon series, like you have to understand, Pokemon has a million different spin-offs. This could be for Pokemon Snap. This could be for some new jank we've never heard of. Pokemon Sleep, which we haven't got a single update for since it was announced. Could it be for the main games? Could be. Could be for the main games. I don't know, but don't go jumping up and down for joy just because they're hiring new people for a new game.
Question: have they done this? Have they ever posted positions before?
Not to this level, as far as I'm aware. I mean, 23 is a lot of positions. So, like, it could be something huge. But like I said, I would keep those expectations in check because there's a lot of different things it could be.
Okay.
And,
it could be for the Pokemon Snap game.
That's what I was saying. Like, I would imagine that's the case because when we saw that trailer, the new Pokemon Snap, it looked good. I'm not saying it looked phenomenal,
Dude,
but by comparison,
it looks better than Pokemon.
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield.
Yes, exactly. It looks better than Sword and Shield, the mainline games. So
it's and Bandai. This is their engine that they're making the game on.
Yeah, so that could be a thing, or maybe they're working on bringing back some of the other Pokemon spin-offs that, in my opinion, probably should come back, like Stadium 3. That could be dope.
I still say the best Pokemon game I played back in the day was, I forgot the name of it, but it was a game. It was a Pokemon game for the GameCube.
Oh, and Coliseum or Gale of Darkness?
Gale of Darkness. Dude, the Pokemon battles look so much better. Like, they actually hit the other Pokemon.
Yeah. Which surprised me that Nintendo and Game Freak used the excuse as like, we're cutting Pokemon out of the game so we can have better animations for the existing ones. And I'm like, I let it slide, but once I played the game, I was like, so that was a fucking lie. You know what I'm talking about. You played the game too.
Yeah, I beat it.
The animations are nothing to write home about, and some of them are just straight up horrible. Some of them, your Pokemon literally just jumps in, not even jumps in place. Like, they grab the 3D model, move it up and down on your screen, and that's an attack animation. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah, and even like Scorn Bunny, his a lot of his moves were reused for different abilities.
That's a common thing. Like, basically, you'll have like your physical attack animation, your special attack animation. So, like, that's not what bothered me. What bothered me was literally how absolutely horrible some of it was. Like, you mentioned Score Bunny, so you got Cinderace. So you seen like Cinderace double kick, where, like I said, they literally grab the model and they just shake it on the screen. Like that was okay. And then you get other animations if you use the Pyro Ball, like it's full blown like good stuff. Like if everything was on that level, it'd be okay in my opinion. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. We're spending too much time on this.
Nah, yeah. So moving on to more juicier topics. Mixer. Mixer is.
Oh, you don't want to wait for GameSpark for that?
Hey, all right. So what else is on the docket? We'll leave Mixer for.
Yeah, I feel like
ambassador.
You know we should discuss it with him. So let's see. I'm just going through some of the smaller things here. Japan, Square Enix files a new "The World Ends with You" trademark. So maybe
I never played that game.
You never played that game?
Nope.
Oh damn, that is one of the best DS games by far. Like, actually, I might go out on a limb and say that's the best DS game, just because the story and the battle system and everything was built around the DS in mind. Like, the original version of that game was specifically for the DS. I know it later got like HD versions on like phones and eventually the Switch, but it's just not the same. It doesn't hold a candle because, like I said, the original game was just entirely built around the DS and it worked. But yeah, so I'm hoping we're finally getting a sequel to that. Like I said,
it came out
best
on the
DS game.
Switch, and I don't think sales were that high.
No, it wasn't. Oh, I think they were okay. I don't think they were high, but
I'm just not. I'm not a fan of that battle system. I don't know why or what it is about the fighting mechanics of that game. I watched like a few videos and it just didn't do it for me.
The original version, though, it used two characters, one on each screen, and you had to fight on both screens at the same time. So, like, that's why I said it's like the original version is the way to play it, for sure, because the whole game was built around that.
Yeah.
But when it turned to single screen, then, you know, a lot of the battle system lost its luster because you're just controlling the one character. But whatever. Hopefully, like I said, it's a sequel, but it could just be them holding on to the trademark, you know?
Are you worried that, what's it called, Square is going to take forever? Square has this bad habit of literally anytime they talk about something or anything comes out, that doesn't necessarily mean it's coming out anytime soon.
That is also true. They're the most famous for developing a game for over a decade.
Even when it came down to Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy 15 was in development for a long ass time. The same thing with what's it called? Kingdom Hearts. It was in development for over a decade or almost a decade.
Yeah. They definitely do that. The time between Final Fantasy 15's announcement and its release was 10 years. I don't know if it was like over or slightly under, but I mean, it's definitely that 10-year mark. And over time, like when it was first announced, it wasn't even Final Fantasy 15. It was 13 Versus. Yeah. So you think about 13 came out, and then all of 13 sequels, and then Final Fantasy 14 came out, and then they decided that game should be Final Fantasy 15. So they had they had 4 mainline Final Fantasy games come out in those 10 years.
True. And then what was it? They did have or I don't know how fast the development of what was the name of the one that came out on the Switch?
Oh, talking about Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long that came to turn around, and isn't that one going to PC as well?
It's already on PC.
Oh,
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
that's also a new trend that's going around this new gen. A lot of things going to PC.
There's a lot of things going to PC, and hold on, I lost my train of thought here. Oh, something a trend with Square Enix is that obviously they have their big budget AAA mainline games that they work on, but then they also have other teams working on smaller games such as like Octopath Traveler, um, the gosh, what was it? I just had it like Bravely Default and like some of these other things that are more traditional, like turn-based RPGs that like old school Square Enix is known for. And then obviously you have the main teams working on big boy stuff like Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, isn't one of their new studios Tokyo? Is it Tokyo, Japan? Those are the guys that did like what the hell is the name of it? Those Sakura or I forgot the name of it. It was on PC. It also came on PS4, and it was also on the Switch. It came out a little bit later. It was about a girl that you had to basically help her get to her sacrifice in order to. I forgot the name of it.
Was that Oninaki?
I don't think Oninaki was one of
Oh,
those.
you're talking about I Am Setsuna.
Yeah, I Am Setsuna. I think that was done by Tokyo, Japan, which is another studio that's made games for Square. So they have in-house studios that works on those small titles. So I think if anything, I think Square needs to get like more studios involved in like their game developments, or like get their teams a little bit larger, because you look at a game like Final Fantasy 15, right? It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't look like a game that needed 10 years of development.
Oh, definitely not.
You know, like, yeah, it's an open world. Well, then again, most RPG games are somewhat open world. And it's like, okay, I don't think it justifies the open world thing, because there was a lot of the world that was reused assets, like the spaceship that was dropping in literally every single time that was like dropping enemies on you. It happened at random, and the world was kind of like open and boring. Like people were having fun going fishing and all types of other shenanigans. So I don't know, but we'll see what Square does. They are a good company. Everybody knows I love them. They make decent games, but their development cycles are too long to justify their games.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like even if the games, even if Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 came out and were literally perfect, would it have been worth the development cost, like the time?
Even Kingdom, is it Kingdom Hearts 3? Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. Is it? Does that look like a game that needed a decade of development? No.
No. Well, but somewhere along the line, they like scrap development. They start over. They actually did that like 2 or 3 times. I think both with Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15.
Mm-hmm.
So the actual development time of these games ended up being like 3 or 4 years, I think, which is more normal. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Hopefully they got it together. Hopefully they got it together now, because before they couldn't make up their mind about anything, and then, like I said, they just kept scrapping stuff. So that's the real reason why we waited over 10 years for that stuff.
I remember eons ago looking at the Final Fantasy 15 demo that they were showing off with like the engine that they were going to use. The what was it? The father was holding the kid, and I was like, damn, that looks good. Then you hear like almost like 5 years later, yeah, the game is about to come out. And then when you see the final game, I'm like, that doesn't add up.
Oh yeah, you already know how it is in the gaming industry. The trailers and the final product may differ.
Ubisoft is known for that. They're big culprits of this. They've apparently, from what I'm hearing, they're supposed to be getting better at it. We'll see. But I don't know where Neo is, and this is a juicy topic. Hold on, let me see what else is in here before we decide on going on that. Oh,
I mean, you want to...
Banjo-Kazooie is getting a sequel, finally.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. I'm sorry, man. I'm like in the game getting. So Crash Bandicoot 4, I think it's supposed to be called something something in time. I didn't watch it. It was
No. See, no. Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time. Okay, you're not that far off. It's about time.
yeah. So well, that's funny. I literally said it's about time to get a sequel. That's ha 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 ha. That's
See
funny.
what you did there.
Activision. That's funny. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, whenever I think of Crash, I think of PlayStation. That's the first place I've seen it. I always see it as a PlayStation exclusive. So I don't know. It's weird to see that it's also coming to Switch, right?
No,
What?
it's not. It has not been announced for Switch. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and I think the article I linked, and they'd come out with a statement saying that they're evaluating additional platforms.
Evaluating additional platforms. They know for a fact that thing sold like gangbusters on the Switch, man. Like, I don't care. If, like,
Let me look it up. Hold on. Crash Bandicoot.
I remember for a while the digital version was on there for like it was like in the top 10 of like the digital downloads or overall best sellers on Switch. I remember seeing it there for a very long time.
It was.
Even the racing game. That racing game. I mean, people compared it to Mario Kart. You know, the diehard Nintendo fans. Hey, nothing can be like my exclusive.
Yeah, I remember. And then they, I can't believe they remastered that game and then just stuffed it with microtransactions. Like it's pretty messed up.
They were pretty dirty about it too. They basically launched the game. They launched it without microtransactions. After the reviews were done, then they activated microtransactions.
Yep.
That was dirty.
That was nasty. That was rude.
Yep.
Because you get the physical, especially if you get the physical copy, you look at the box and it's not on there. Because I think there's this thing going around now where I don't know if it's in effect yet, but developers either have to or they're going to have to start putting like notifications on the back of the box saying like this game has in-game purchases.
That's good. Because
so they can easily get around that by just launching without it, and then a few weeks, a month later, patch them in. Tell me that's not messed up.
I think Activision was testing their luck. They were literally trying to see if it would work out in that way for them.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up, but that's how it goes. But anyways, yeah, Crash 4, it's announced. Not currently coming to the Switch, but I'm confident. I am definitely confident that it'll be there.
Speaking of Switch, somebody has finally been touched by the glory of Switch. A little company called EA. They had a show, and the show was cool. It was, to be honest, that show could have been actually no, not necessarily. We're in this culture now like the show could have been skipped. No, not necessarily. Because if they went on the EA show, if they went on the E3 show floor and showed this, then people would have literally eaten them apart. But that's not the case. They went online and they had their own show. You know, they had their little speech in the beginning supporting like, you know, all types of gamers, which is dope. I like that. Supporting, you know, different races, genres, you know, what you do in the bedroom, AGB community, whatever the letter they are. But they also showed off. They didn't show off. What was it? Madden. They didn't really show off. They didn't show off FIFA either. So they didn't really show off anything in their sports titles. And from what I'm hearing, they're supposed to do something a little bit later on. But hey, we'll see. I'm not a big Madden guy, so I don't know. But they did announce that Apex Legends was coming to the Nintendo Switch, bro.
Yep. They definitely did. That is on our list of topics here. So
I thought it was gonna be a stealth drop, like it was gonna be like announced and then like launched the same day, but that's not the case.
No, it's coming out, I think, this fall.
Yeah, it's a fall release. So, eh.
But they have, yeah, obviously come out and announced that it's coming to the Switch, and according to Respawn, they said it's running very well on Nintendo Switch.
I don't doubt
So,
Respawn. They've been doing pretty good work. They did some pretty, even when they launched like their Titanfall game, Titanfall 2, it
mm,
ran better on the PS4 for even having less hardware power. So they could pull some magic off, and the good thing is that there's not a third party company doing it. It's actually Respawn that's doing it. Just like how Epic did the port for Fallout. I mean for whatever the hell that name
talking
is.
about Fortnite.
Fortnite? Yeah, Fallout. Uh, yeah, they did Fortnite, so that's good to see when the actual manufacturer of the game is doing it. If it's Panic Button, I'm perfectly fine. I trust them. But
Right.
I think this game is gonna do well. I told my son about it because I only let him play Fortnite on Switch, and I don't allow him to use a headset. You know, people got some disgusting mouths on there. So when I told him about Apex Legend, he was super excited. So there you go. There you go, Respawn. You got somebody that's looking forward to this. Now, what resolution will it run? I don't know, dude.
Who knows? For something like this, it's not quite as important. We're looking more for performance. I mean, it's a competitive battle royale, so obviously you want your game to run as smooth as possible. I don't know how Fortnite runs on the Switch currently. I know, like, I think I played it when it first launched, and it wasn't like great, but it was definitely playable, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll see. Oh, and they have also said that Apex Legends is going to have crossplay, all
All
platforms.
platforms. That
So
was that was one of
Steam,
EA's thing.
Origin, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. If you play Apex Legends, you're playing it with everybody.
That's also scary because a person like me playing with my Basilisk Razer mouse and my freaking what was it? My display that has like literally no input lag and 200 hertz, dude. That's kind of cheesy because one of the biggest things that people complained about Fortnite on the Switch is your depth of field and your distance between popping on screen was so dramatically drawn out that you couldn't see people from a distance. You end up getting popped, and because of the low textures, people were able to like hide in like bushes and pop you
Yeah.
from a distance. So I don't know. This is one of those games where you know you roll with a group of four, you go solo, which you should never do in a battle royale game like that. So I don't
Speaking
know.
from experience.
Yeah, seriously. But I don't know. I'm actually looking forward to it. I will try it. It's a free game, so
Yeah, we'll definitely try it. It'll be one of our game nights for sure.
yeah, we'll get
Uh,
me, Neo, Blandrew maybe. I don't know about Blandrew.
I mean, if he's down to play it, why not?
Yeah, if he's down to play it, definitely. But Blandrew don't really play anything that's not weird.
He's still gonna be playing Ninjala.
Yeah, actually, that also comes out in 3 days. The official announcement comes out in 3 days, and I will be playing that on FDP. I will do some online matches with the new layout and have some nice
Word.
theme music in the background. And yeah, we might even jump in. Taku's probably going to jump in, do multiplayer. I'm going to have my son play too, so, you know, have a full Final Dash podcast playthrough of that.
That'll be fun for sure. Real quick before we move on from what are we talking about? Apex. The Switch version will have gyro controls. So for those of you that prefer those for your aiming and your shooting and all that. So it's I have hopes. I have hopes that it's going to do well on the Switch. It runs good enough, and then obviously, like the community keeps at it, keeps playing the game because the crossplay isn't just limited to certain platforms. Like the entire game is crossplay across the whole board.
Do you think
Uh,
that crossplay may end up working in tandem for specific console manufacturers? Like to the point where now people are like, you know, if I could play with everybody and all my friends and all this other stuff, I don't need to get like the next system. I could just be good with just one system going forward. Like someone could just say, I have a PS5 with all these games going cross play. I don't ever need to get an Xbox to play with my friends because I could play with everybody. Or the simple fact that people be like, dude, if this crossplay thing goes this way and third parties now ending up on everything, I might only just get a PC and then consoles start to die off because of crossplay.
So it's really going to be something down to the developer. There's a point you bring up where it's like, oh, now people that bought multiple systems to play with their friends, they don't have to do that anymore, and that's definitely the case. But we have to look at it from the developer side of things. It's like you're constantly creating new games, new multiplayer stuff, trying to become the next big thing, and it's all about keeping people in those games as long as possible so you can make money off your freaking season passes and microtransactions and things. Well, if you limit your community to only PlayStation people play against PlayStation people, Xbox people play with Xbox, PC with PC, those communities can die down way faster. Like, let's say it's really successful on Xbox, and then PC people don't play. They shut off they shut off PC servers. That's potential money you're losing out on. And then it's a way for the developers, I feel, to extend the life of these games, because instead of just having this small pool and it's like 4 or 5 separate communities, it's just one giant community. And because the community is bigger, everyone can be more active and feel like, oh, the game is still played, so I can go and play it and not have to worry about, oh, no one plays this game on Xbox. Like, look at Monster Hunter. Like, Neo's got Monster Hunter on Xbox, but who the hell is he going to play with? Right?
That is true. And I think Capcom should look into that too. Another one that would benefit greatly from doing crossplay would be NBA 2K. Because there's so many times, like, I get the game on Switch because at the time before all this happened, I was traveling a lot and I wanted to play 2K, and you know, I dabbled in spending a little bit of VC on my character, and and then people are like, hey, why don't you get it on PS4 so I can play with you? I'm like, dude, I'm not about to buy VC all over again just to play with you. Hell no. You know? So if you had crossplay and you have cross progression, that would be fire. People would tend to spend more money on, I know people hate this, you know, Blackbone calls them booty boxes. But
wait, what? Oh, loot boxes?
Yeah, he called them booty boxes. Yeah, so people would spend more money on loot boxes or character development because they only have to buy it in one place. And if the games end up being like games that could be like, you know, played over time for years instead of every year there's a new 2K. Like, I think that's where people don't spend money on that type of stuff. It's like every September there's a new 2K, or October, whenever it comes out, right? So it's like, dude, you can't carry your VC, the money you spent on those points over. You got to start all over from scratch, all over again, because people spend more time in the my court part. So they're like, dude, I don't want to spend $60 on a game every single year and then spend over $200 or $400. I forgot, someone did the math where it was like almost to max your character all the way to what you can by buying VC and all that. You literally would have to spend almost $500 or $1,000, I think it was. And I'm like,
that's nuts, man.
No one's doing that every fucking year. And then that's just your character upgrade. People end up buying clothes, sneakers, and all that. Could you imagine buying in-game sneakers, like, with real money? Oh my god.
People are wild, man.
Yeah, but people do that. So if crossplay is a big thing, man. And if it's done right, and if you expand your games out for a longer period of time, that'd be dope. For instance, if Nintendo did this with like Splatoon, they can make a killing. Let me not give them any ideas.
Wait, what are you talking about? Like, all right, I'll let you finish. I'm curious to see where you're going with this.
Like, if they only release like one Splatoon game, like not crossplay or anything like that, if they made one Splatoon game and then had like, I don't know, you could spend real money to like, I don't know, get like cosmetics and shit like that, right? I think you do, don't you? Or no, no, no. You do.
No, everything you get is earned in game when it comes to
Yeah,
Splatoon.
but I mean,
Yeah,
like, if the game was like not something that was done like every year, and there was like crazy amount of expansions on it every year, like look at Fortnite. Fortnite gets seasons and stuff like that to make the game much longer, and they're for Epic is doing it to the point where like because of the next generation systems and the new Unreal Engine, they're gonna upgrade the visual fidelity of the game for free. So it's like getting a whole new game all over again.
yep, yep. I don't know if that really does anything for Nintendo though, because you think about it, a lot of this stuff it's only going to come out once a generation, anyways. Like, look at something like Mario Kart 8. We haven't had a new one since 2014. Now,
I
granted,
was
they added
hoping that
DLC
we
and there's
got
a
one.
deluxe edition that's upgraded, and they added like 200cc. But I mean, that's still like a once in a generation game. Something like Smash Brothers. I mean, Nintendo doesn't do this thing where they release a ton of sequels on one system. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I was hoping for a surprise like because let's be real, the Mario Kart that we got was a game from the 3DS.
Well, from the Wii U.
Oh yeah, from the Wii U. So it's been how long? Like it's been too long. I was hoping for a new game to give like like a new life and things. And I don't know, man. Like I think Nintendo is waiting for something because I feel like that game is in the mix. I feel like there was a Star Fox in the mix, and I feel like that game's in the mix.
I wish there was an F Zero somewhere in there, but
Yeah.
nah, but nah.
Staying on EA, they also announced that they have 7 more titles coming for the Switch.
No, 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 no. Okay, see, now I gotta stop you right there. 7 titles total coming to the Switch. One is Apex, one is FIFA 2021, and then that means there's five we don't know about right now.
And I'm telling you right now, if one of them is not, I'm telling you right now, if one of them is not The Sims, I'm gonna find the EA office. I gotta talk to somebody.
What Cloud means to say is if somehow The Sims is not fucking coming, he's gonna snap.
And they spend so much time talking about like a area where people can be themselves, a whole community. Are you serious? You're missing out on the larger community of people that are very diverse. Nintendo gamers are very diverse and different. Like like really that whole trailer should have been about launching it on the Switch when they were talking about the Sims 4 or Sims 5, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, they definitely should have done that. So obviously EA's come out, they're releasing a bunch of things on Switch, and I think this is more of a money move than anything because we know about Nintendo and EA's fallout during the Wii U days. And ever since then, EA has avoided Nintendo like the plague. And that was, what, 7, 8 years ago? It was a long time ago. But now, Nintendo's the new hotness. Obviously, they're making a lot of sales here on the Switch. It's been the hottest selling system for quite a while now. And I will bet anything. I'll put my life on this one. I bet you anything the only reason EA is even messing with Nintendo right now is because of their investors. Their investors are looking at them every day like, why don't you have Switch games? Why do I keep seeing news articles about the Switch? How come I keep seeing it sold out? How come I keep hearing about, how great this Switch is and you don't have games for it? So EA probably had to cave into the pressure and finally put something on the Switch, or put a lot of things on the Switch, because that is free money they're missing out on. Like, I mean, Apex Legends is obviously going to do Apex Legends things. People are going to play that game, probably buy a bunch of stupid stuff in there. Sims, that's free real estate. Come on, man. not being able to, not being limited to your TV to play Sims, being able to like pick it up, take it with you anywhere, walk around the house, just lay on the couch while, girlfriend, kids, whatever, watch TV, being able to take the bathroom with you, just not leaving the game is going to be such a big deal.
Hey, dude, keep going. I'm on the phone call.
Oh, okay. So what is it? We have Sims, we have FIFA, we have Apex. Well, Sims isn't officially announced. I'm a Nintendo gamer, man. I'm not too familiar with EA and what they're bringing. So if I'm being honest here, I don't really know what the four other games could be. There's rumors that they're going to do a remastered Mass Effect trilogy for the current consoles. That's probably a good bet if that does get announced that it could come to the Switch, seeing as how the only time Nintendo systems have even had a single Mass Effect game was like Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U. And that was like kind of rude because at the time there was a bundle for Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 on PlayStation 3 and 360 for less money than what they were charging on the Wii U. That was a huge slap to the face. But yeah, it could be cool. Could be cool. It would be a big deal, like I said, for a Nintendo system for the first time ever to have all three of those games.
What 3 games?
The Mass Effect trilogy.
Yeah.
Because there is a rumor that EA has a Mass Effect trilogy remastered in the works.
You telling me that the first trilogy on the Switch is gonna be a EA game versus a Metroid game owned by Nintendo?
Oh, if Nintendo comes out with a Prime trilogy, that's a wrap.
Yeah, is it gonna sell though?
Metroid Prime trilogy on the Switch?
Yeah, is it gonna sell though? How well does Metroid games do?
Metroid games are usually 1 or 2 million. It's really not that much.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? The Switch has boosted sales before. The Switch has definitely boosted sales.
Yeah, because if you look at like
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, Zelda was never a game that sold like 10 million copies or anything like that. It was always like a 2 million copy type of game.
Yeah, they would normally do somewhere between 4 and 6 million, but then Breath of the Wild, what are the sales on that thing? I think it's somewhere around like 9 or 10. It might be higher.
I think it's over 10.
Breath of the Wild sales numbers, blah, blah. Wow. 14.27 million copies.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
You
think about it, that is literally more than triple of what that series normally does.
Yeah. I remember for a while Nintendo was saying that there were more copies of the game sold than Switches available. And even if you counted in the Wii sales, it still didn't make sense.
Oh yeah, that was funny. That was funny. No, because people bought collector's editions. They didn't want to open them. You know how people resell stuff later on for more money.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I did the same thing.
Yeah, so it's good. The thing is, if Nintendo comes out with something, it's limited edition. That's easy bank reselling it.
I wish Nintendo would do more like collector's editions for statues like everything else. But Nintendo won't because they resell like their action figures for like crazy buku amount of money.
Well, why would Nintendo do the statue thing when they have amiibos? They're still making those. Yeah, in fact, some new ones just got announced today.
That's not the same thing, man. It's not the
They're
same.
little miniature figurines that have functionalities or don't have functionalities in the game, but like some games your amiibo does things and helps you out, gets you stuff. So
like an actual real dope ass collection figure of like a Pokemon. That'd be
look up the Joker amiibo, the one that just got announced today. It's actually pretty good quality.
It's still palm size. I'm talking like a 9-inch, 12-inch statue.
Oh wait, is that the
It,
homie?
it is. I have
Oh,
arrived.
good. We had a topic that we're waiting just for you, you freaking
Just
Xbox
for you.
ambassador.
Oh god damn.
But
Look
before
at
we
that.
get in there,
Look at that.
introduce yourself.
Yo, what is going on, Final Dash Nation? It's your boy, NGS. Yeah, that's my intro. There we go. Final
Okay.
Dash Nation, that's what y'all called. Further notice, that's what it is.
Okay. We'll run with that for now. So we went over some small things. I don't think we need to really bring you in on some of the small, but we have the thing we are just closing up right now is EA bringing Apex, FIFA, and 5 mystery games to the Switch. So Neo, take the floor.
Honestly, I mean, there's not much else I can really say about that. I am not too shocked that EA is bringing more Switch games over because the games that they're bringing are kind of expected. I mean, they're just like remasters and
Hold
ports.
on,
You know,
Sims, do you think The Sims is going to be on there? Because if it's not, then it's not as expected.
well, here's the thing though. Expected in the sense that we're going to give you those smaller games that we're already going to port everywhere, but at the same time, they're not going to give us the ones that we would expect. Like, oh, this is a perfect fit for the Switch, like The Sims. I would love for them to bring that to the Switch, but at the same time, this is the same company who they'll just re-release last year's version of FIFA and be like, oh, this is the what did they call it? Like
Legacy Edition.
Legacy
And it's
Edition.
funny you mentioned that because FIFA 2021 on Switch is a Legacy Edition, which 2020 was a Legacy Edition. So what is it? Where Switch players don't get FIFA on Switch because you're probably playing like FIFA 18 or 19. Like the Legacy Edition, it's come out and they've proven that it's literally the same game as whatever previous version. They just update the roster. Like that's it.
Yep, that's it, and that's why I say it's expected. So honestly, I'd be surprised if they did bring over Sims because that's just like it makes too much sense for EA. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not. And The Sims is not a game they make like consistently. Like they're on Sims
no.
Lives, and it's been out for ages. You know, they
Yeah.
just keep launching like expansion packs. Do like if they were smart, listen to me, EA. Do a Sims 5 and then launch it where the seasons pass, and you be good.
Listen to the man, Dark Cloud, y'all. Or should I say
And
DC?
there's like bring it in close, bring it in close. Come on,
Exactly.
come on. I'm gonna let you know something. It's free money.
Exactly.
Like,
But
you-
other than that, though, I mean, I assume that all their other games are probably just going to be ports of games that EA can afford to put on the Switch with no issues. Apex Legends, I was surprised at that because there aren't too many first-person competitive type of games on the Switch.
It's free real estate.
Exactly. So if they put that on there, who's to say what'll happen in the future? Because I'm pretty sure if they see the success from that, and you know, Switch owners, they do support the good games on the system. Who knows? Maybe at some point Bungie might put like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they might put a version of Destiny 2, or we could see Call of Duty Warzone again. You know, the reasons why some of these developers don't put them on Switch, obviously scaling down the games and assets and CPU limitations, all of that. But hey, if it can work, if it can work.
Player game and it's free to play. You know, like for instance, like as much as everybody was super excited for Overwatch on Switch, it ran at 30. Some Nintendo fans like, I'm a little salty on that one. I'm not really getting it. Where's that game now? That is a super hyped game. Where's that game now?
That's true. That's true. That's very true. And I mean, there was a lot more than just the whole 30 thing. There was, I'm not saying this is the biggest indication because, you know, a lot of gamers don't have spines, but there was the controversy with Blizzard in China and people didn't want to support it. So there's some portion of people who wouldn't, but as a whole, Overwatch, honestly, a lot of people I know, they kept crying that Overwatch should have been on Switch years ago, but it's here now. This is a multiplayer game. Why don't you buy it? I think personally, it comes down to the connectivity aspect. When you're playing these type of games, you can play them. Right, no crossplay. And also, if I'm being honest with you guys, outside of games like Mario Kart and Splatoon, it's really hard to set up online games for the Switch because there's no built-in like system voice chat universal across the system. And it requires me to use Discord. And I'm not saying that's a big deal breaker, but
why Epic told Nintendo, fuck you. We're gonna add in our own party system on when
Yeah,
it came to
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't blame some people who don't want to get these multiplayer games on Switch, because honestly, it is a hassle. Sometimes I just want to turn on my console and have the party chat built in and not have to worry about, okay, I got to turn on my console and then connect my Bluetooth headset to my phone, or, you know, turn on my computer. So I mean, it's free to play, so it's not like it's gonna really you're not gonna lose anything by downloading it and playing a couple matches on the go. I think would be great, because I don't think there's a mobile version of Apex Legends, right?
No, but I hear rumors that I think that's one of the things they're gonna try to achieve. That's why the Switch was one of the first.
Oh, well, there we go. I mean, they have Call of Duty Mobile. That's actually doing good. So
that
yeah,
should be on the Switch. Dude, oh man.
Maybe not the full blown game, but like I mean, just the what do they call the battle royale mode? Blackout.
Blackout?
On the Switch, it's just Warzone. I mean,
Warzone.
Call of Duty is just Warzone.
yeah.
Oh, it's no single player anymore. It's just.
Well, the thing with Warzone,
It came with modern. It was a part of Modern Warfare. Same engine. They just made it free.
yeah, they made it its own standalone download, but you still have to download all of Modern Warfare, all 100, like 15
Ooh.
gigs. So it's
Oh no.
yeah, but
they would have to figure out something before they bring that over.
right, storage
You gotta
limitations.
remember, it's the uncapped game where you could change resolutions as you feel. You know,
Yeah.
So taking away some of that stuff, and you know, Nintendo, port usual, you know, scrap the sound engine.
Ain't that a fact? Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, that's all I really got to say on EA. I mean, I'm glad to see more support, and provided they don't half-ass it, I think. I mean, 'cause here's the thing: I want to be excited, but I just know how EA is, and it's like they all can't be like Bethesda, where it's like, oh, we put Doom on, put Doom in Skyrim, they did well. We put Wolfenstein 2 and Youngblood, they did well. So we're gonna bring Doom Eternal. It's not like that with EA. It's like, oh, this game can do bad, so we're not going to support it. And then you have a game that does good, we're still not going to support it. You know, it's just
Yeah.
But if EA's smart, they sit there and they're like, damn, look at how successful Animal Crossing is. Imagine what we could do with The Sims.
Yep.
yeah.
That's what I said. It's free money.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
Down to the Xbox ambassador. So, two things to go with this topic. So after the event with what was it? PlayStation's event, Microsoft came out and they were basically doubling down on what was it? Forward compatibility with their smart delivery. And come to find out that you know, there were articles that are being written saying that they're the only ones doing that. Sony doesn't really have anything like that going on. And then you had third-party developers coming out. And the thing about it, you can't really blame Microsoft for this. It's just the fanboys, because Microsoft literally said that smart delivery it's up to the developers in order for something like that to work. And you know, fanboys took it out of context and like, oh, Sony's trash, they're not doing it. All their games is only it's Sony titles that's going to be only for next gen. So I think one or two developers, Cyberpunk came through and said something, and then Sony just tweeted today that if you buy, what was it, the
Avengers,
you'll also get it for the PS5. So it looks like Microsoft, what they thought was an ace in the hole is now backfiring on them.
I mean, as a whole, I don't really see how it's really backfiring on them, because I actually did a full video on this a few days back discussing smart delivery and how it's not really as big a thing as people realize. The only people who are taking this out of context are the fanboys, because fanboys will always do that. They'll hype things up like no tomorrow. Microsoft comes out there and they advertise smart delivery because that's one of their features. It's no different than other companies coming out there and saying, oh, look at this, look at that. So for me, I don't think it's like Microsoft being exposed that other publishers are doing this sort of thing. It's just literally a case of, here you have a major first party who's pushing it as an initiative. Now, I'm not going to say that because they did that, they influenced Sony to come out here, because we haven't seen any Sony first party games like Last of Us or Ghost to get PS5 variants. So I can't say that.
I don't think we're going to get that from Sony when it comes to their first party titles.
Oh, so that in that situation, that's ace in a hole for Microsoft, because in that case, if Sony just gives you straight backwards compatibility and no for proper 4K upgrades or assets, that makes smart delivery more appealing by comparison. Because hey, it's like I'll be playing these games right now with those better assets, while you will just be playing the vanilla PS4 versions on your PS5. As a whole, though, I even said this in my video.
They are gonna go back and do like the top played games that everyone is playing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna boost them in resolution, texture, and stuff like that. Like for instance, like Grand Theft Auto is one of those games that's gonna get that type of treatment, and then there are gonna be some other games that's gonna get that type of treatment.
Oh yeah, but they didn't specify it on a like marketing level on what those individual games could be. No. So they could just be a resolution bump. Others could be textures. So I don't think any of that, like from what we heard, is we can just say for certainty that they'll do it. But here's the thing about smart delivery, which a lot of people, fanboys and haters, they got to realize smart delivery is really only something that's going to be beneficial to people who wait out on the system in the first 2 years, because after the first 2 years of smart delivery, it's not going to be a case of Xbox One X getting the best version when you get the Series X.
Said this because I've been saying it forever, dude. Like, it's like something to help like ease the pain of jumping into next gen.
Yeah, and it's a great incentive in the sense that my games are going to look and run better. I think that's the differentiator between straight backwards compatibility and then backwards compatibility with better upgrades and features made for the console. But again, after the first 2 years, none of this stuff is going to matter, and the only way Microsoft is going to be able to pimp out smart delivery is going to be at the end of the generation when they're moving into the new generation of consoles, or if the Xbox Lockhart, the Xbox Series S, is to be leaved. You buy the consoles, like let's just say, for example, you have two of them. For whatever reason, you buy the Series X for yourself, you have the Series S for your son, buying one version of the game, and it's optimized for both platforms. So in that situation, smart delivery is great. Like, hey, buy it once, you get 2 copies of the game, and it's optimized for both. So whether you're running it at, let's just say 4K 60, and then your son wants to run it at like, I don't know, 1080p, 120 frames per second, you can do that. But other than that, people just got to stop going crazy.
And you heard it here first, guys. The Microsoft ambassador himself.
Oh my God.
Hey, I don't know, man. I've yet to see anyone.
Hey man, we got the Holy Trinity right here.
I've yet to see Kid Smooth get that type of recognition that you got from, who was it?
Major Nelson. Major Nelson.
Oh my God. And that was, and the thing is, you don't even pop out like brand company videos like that. So
no,
that's funny, man. Yeah, so
homeboy retweeted your
ambassador here. One bit of bad news for you. Apparently your company decided to shut down Mixer. Wasn't getting enough engagement.
Yes, sir. All right, so let me just take this. I actually just released a video that I recorded a couple hours ago about this whole situation. Honestly, I'm not surprised. I mean, you didn't even have to look at the graphic that showed the year-over-year growth from the other streaming platforms to know that Mixer was in a shithole. It just was. Like, you had a handful of people streaming on there, and then you had Ninja. So honestly, like literally, it was just that. I know less people who streamed on Mixer. I know, like, the amount of people I know who streamed on Mixer is literally, you could say it's 1/10 of the people who stream on Mixer. That's how bad it was. So for them shutting it down, or at least incorporating it into Facebook gaming, I don't really care, because evidently they were terrible at running a streaming service. They had no faith in it. And there's a bigger problem, which we'll touch on later as we all share our thoughts. But in this particular scenario of them shutting down Mixer, I don't see how people say that, oh, this is absolutely bad for gaming. This is bad on Microsoft, considering every single one of these companies has initiatives that they invest in, that they put money and time and resources, and it doesn't pan out. PlayStation had a lot of those in the PS3 and early PS4 days. They've shut down. These companies shut down studios. They cut their ties on what's not working. So I can't fault them. I understand what people are saying, like, aha, let's dump on Microsoft. But if we applied that same logic to PlayStation, you know, when they shut down PlayStation Vue, they spent all that money. Well, and I don't think they really got anything out of it. So, yeah. But when it comes to the bigger scale,
I could touch on PlayStation Vue. It wasn't the amount of people on there, because it was still profitable. What it came down to was the bidding process on channels. It was too many people were paying for a certain amount, paying monthly, and then to come find out that you lose the service because Sling basically outbid Sony for this. So Sony said that the bidding war made no sense, and they felt like they weren't giving back to customers. So it came down to where it's like 1 year you may have HBO, and then Sling comes out of nowhere and says, we're gonna pay $2 million for it, and then your regular customers like me that had PlayStation View goes away. So it was just too much. It was just too much battle in that place, but it was very profitable.
Oh, no doubt, I know, but again, that's a thing that, you know, if it's not working out for the company, they just gotta cut their losses, even if it worked or it didn't. Because if y'all remember, Microsoft was trying to push Mixer heavy as the platform, especially with Ninja, and then gearing up into the Series X and Halo Infinite. Like, this was supposed to be Twitch, I don't want to say it, but Twitch's downfall. You know what I'm saying? It's a big console company pushing a streaming service, and they fumbled the bag and they threw it Ninja's way. All 30 million of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey Taco, I'll let you get your piece on this. I can't believe this fucker just hit me. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't have too much to say about it. I'm a Nintendo guy. I don't know what the internet is. So
what is streaming? What is voice chat?
Streaming? I never heard of this before. No, it's too difficult in any space within the tech industry to take down the top dog. Like Andrew Yang has kind of said this best. It's like, I mean, of course you want competition, and competition is good, but when it comes to technology, you don't want to use the second best app on the phone. Yep. You want the best one. So everyone goes to the best one. And that's how a lot of these things are like completely uncontested. Like if you heard Twitch was the best streaming app and everyone's there, you're like, cool. And then you hear, oh, there's Mixer and they do what? I don't know. Did they do anything different? If they did, it doesn't even matter. It's like, okay, they had everyone's over here.
They had really good like rules of engagement and stuff like that to protect male streamers compared to Twitch, where they were like, I don't give a fuck if you show your chest, you're gone, but they won't do that type of stuff to a female. So there was a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah, I know Twitch had a bunch of its own problems and all that, but it doesn't matter. It's already here. It's already established itself. That's where everyone's eyes are as far as streaming. So it was just too much of a task, even for a giant ass company like Microsoft to really think that they were going to be able to even go toe to toe with Twitch.
That's why they went for
and something I had brought up here that was tied to the Mixer situation was like everyone's talking about it is like Shroud and Ninja are free agents now. They can go back to Twitch. And you laughing, yeah, because you know what I'm about to bring up.
Hell yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I was on Twitter with Cloud just talking about, I was like, if I recall this correctly, didn't that end pretty badly between those two?
Yep.
And then
it was a big.
Oh yeah.
Microsoft threw him the bag, and he went over there. You know, he thought this was going to be like the next coming to Twitch. He likes the guidelines and everything, and then Twitch was like, dude, I can't believe you're leaving. You're a piece of shit. I hate you. Fuck this. We're gonna put porn on your channel. We're gonna funnel people through.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. I didn't follow that much.
Okay, I brought up an article. I brought up an article because like I had to research the exact details. I was right about everything. Ninja left, and then Twitch had used Ninja's channel to stream and promote other Twitch streamers. Because obviously a lot of views left when Ninja left, so they're trying to promote other.
So wait, they took a hold of his account? I thought.
Yes.
Wow.
They literally took over Ninja's account to promote other streamers or other top streams. Someone broke the algorithm and got porn streamed on Ninja's channel.
Oh God, that's messy, man. That's seriously messy.
Oh yeah, it was a huge situation. Ninja was like, "Look, I kept silent until now. I was trying to end it on good terms. And this happened. Is like, I'm so sorry. Is like, this is not associated with me or my brand. I have no control over it. It's like I'm trying my best to get get them to shut down my channel right now.
Jesus Christ.
I get it. He got the bag. He got the bag, and you know what's gonna come along right behind him with this. He got the bag, but people are gonna be like, "We told you not to go over there because you ran and chased for money. You This is what happens. Now your Mixer's gone, and you're not. He's still popular. He's still Ninja. You know what I'm saying? He could probably make a comeback. Can he grab back the same amount of people he had on Twitch? I doubt it. He'd probably get back 60 to 70% of them.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's a really good statistic, but at the same time, Cloud, you know this. We've all been in this whole internet game, social media for a long time. People don't have morals. They don't stick to their guns when they say they're not going to do something. The vast majority of them, they're still going to do it. So if Ninja came back on Twitch, his audience is coming back. They are, because it's just like, oh, well, all right, whatever. I hated that you did it. But here's the thing that I don't understand. It's like when people say, I hate that you're leaving Twitch for Mixer, what does that do for you as the consumer of that content? It's not like you have to switch from one paid service to another. You still are able to watch it. It's not like, for example, okay, you had, let's just say, Final Dash podcast. We had a very successful 2 seasons on Netflix. Then all of a sudden, for our 3rd season and going forward, we're switching to HBO Max. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are already ingrained and they're paying that monthly fee on Netflix, and now you're switching to HBO Max for no
funny
reason.
You bring up that comparison. You could have brought up, what was it? Cobra Kai switching from YouTube Premium to Netflix.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you're talking about. 2 paid services.
Yeah.
Continue to story.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, I don't understand why people were making such a big deal like he's leaving such and such. Because people always like to equate it to the whole console war fanboy thing. Like, wow, this game was on PlayStation, then they made the next one exclusive to Xbox. Like, that's different. You have to go buy a new system. But you're creating another account on another www.com place.
You better calm down about that, because people will attack you, because that's the same thing as like downloading a game on the Epic Games game
Oh Lord, here we go.
Steam. So you better be careful with that.
I have to download another client, even though I already have Steam and GOG and all these other ones.
In all fairness, some launchers cause issues. Like some launchers won't allow you to launch like your overlays, or basically you'll end up, the game will just stop working. There's bugs. Like, for instance, when I had the issue with Doom, is because I bought it through the Bethesda store. And then I got my money back. Launch it on Steam, it worked perfectly fine.
Oh yeah. No, there's problems, but as a whole, that doesn't happen 99% of the time. Like, I can launch these games just fine. Of course, you'll have those instances, but that exists with everything that happens, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. People, they gonna hate on this man. He secured the bag. He's gonna keep securing the money, and I guess that's it. But here's the bigger point that I want to bring up, and I touched on it in my video. This is what really scares me about the future.
Another Microsoft video, huh? You really embracing this?
Hey man, have you seen the sub count climbing, bro? I keep an eye on your channel, Neo. I see it. I see the numbers.
We just broke 45,000 subscribers.
That's what's up, dude.
Thank you. But I want to bring this up because I spoke about this in my video. Are y'all worried? Because this is just yet another situation of Microsoft throwing more good money after bad, thinking it will solve their problems. So, we saw it. We saw it with Rare dumping like what, $250 million. We saw it with all these deals that they made with these companies to build games before the Series X, and then now Mixer, which is dead. What do you guys think?
So I posted something on Twitter. Let me look at the exact post that I said, because I want to read it word for word. And I get it. Some people are not going to agree with me. I have my own opinions. You know, they have their own opinions. Think about this for a second. Company sees low sales on exclusives. They shut down the studio. They cancel the game. Low sales on games across all games and media embrace. They put it on Game Pass because it's not hitting the numbers that they used to hit. Now low engagements on Mixers, and they shut it down. As a gamer, I'm a little worried, and I'll basically go into what I mean by on that. And it's not a console war type of thing. It's just something that I've seen with Microsoft. It's a pattern that they have, that if something doesn't catch fire, they're out.
Yep.
and I'm not a fan of that. Like, look at like Sword Art Online. It's not a large fan base when it comes to like the 3D, the PS4 or wherever the game launches. They don't make back all their money, but they still do it. Passion projects, they're gonna make that one game that's gonna be complete fire and everybody's gonna want it. But they still go at it. They still keep at it. Sony makes titles like they have passion projects that some people like, some people don't like. You know, not everything sells like The Last of Us 2. Not everything like Octodad. A lot of those games don't sell, but you see sequels from the studio making those titles. Now, if Sony was like, if Microsoft was like Sony, think of like titles that didn't break 4 million, 5 million. They're done with that shit, and that I don't like that, because who's to say that if Microsoft was to have more passion and trust in their studios, we could have seen another Rise Son of Rome Part 2, and it could have been fire.
Yep.
But because of the way that they are, if everything doesn't catch wind the first time, they're out, dude. And I don't like that.
Definitely. And that was the point that I brought up too, because it's like those games that started the generation for Xbox, sure, they weren't the best, they weren't hard-hitting titles, but you know what the game I always like to bring up is Uncharted 1, the first game was a decent game. It wasn't great, but when Uncharted 2 dropped, that put everything on the map. And it catapulted Naughty Dog from this company that, you know, they created some good games, they had its audience, to tons of people who weren't even into games playing this because it was really good. So for Sony, they know their studios, they know what they're capable of, and they've taken some losses here and there. They had to close some other studios down, but they know what their games want to be. And the games that they know are good, they'll keep up with the budgets, and then we see the fruits from the labor. Xbox just... this is one thing I don't like. They just seem to throw money at everything, thinking more money is the solution. More deals this, more deals that, instead of cultivating the relationships between these studios. Like Sony and Insomniac, they could have bought them out during the PS2 days and it could have been fine. But they cultivated that relationship. They saw the studio grow into what they are, and they branched out from doing just Ratchet and Clank and then the one-off title here and there. And then they gave us one of the best superhero games of all time with Spider-Man. That the sales of that game alone, Jesus Christ. So that's what worries me with Microsoft. Sure, they have all these deals with these companies. They bought Obsidian and they bought Ninja Theory, and you know, those are proven studios, but is more money for those games going to be the solution to fixing Microsoft's like game identity problem? I you know, we'll have to see as far as the next generation comes, but this doesn't bode well.
Oh, Microsoft.
We're in the same boat. I thought you were gonna come a different way, Neo, but I gotta remember, we're kind of alike in some ways, and it's not a constant.
I mean, alike in some ways. I like it a lot, man.
Yeah. So it's not that I don't like Microsoft. It's a lot of the things that I see them do. I scratch my head, dude. Like, they had no idea what Scalebound would have done. Okay, yeah, right. It would have had some issues. It had some issues where it was gonna it wasn't gonna launch right. You know, they probably weren't gonna like the way that the game came out. But leave that up to the fans. Look at how people are playing Xenoblade Chronicles, and it's not even a graphical leap over the Wii.
Yep.
And it's still 30 frames and drops. So you never know what they could get. Am I lying?
No, bro. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. I'm telling you.
So I don't know, man. I'm worried about them as a company, because who's to say that, like, you know, another game comes out they don't like, it doesn't do well, and yeah, they still have their engagements, right? Where their engagements are, oh, this guy's pretty good. Their engagements are like people that have like, what is it? Game Pass and downloads. They go by that. But you know what? How many people download a game and use it as a demo?
A lot of people.
So you can't say that engagement on like Game Pass downloads is a good thing. You don't know what it is. Like, you can have gameplay time, but that doesn't equate to how many users are consistently playing all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. That's my biggest problem. Like, I want to be optimistic about the future, because Phil Spencer's done a lot of good things, but at the same time, if he can't, Yeah, at the same time, Phil Spencer, he said a lot like this is going to be the best Xbox E3 every single year, and yet outside of like 2018, which was arguably a good year for the industry as a whole, not necessarily Xbox, but for showing off all those games, it was great. He's never produced in his, because he got there in 2014. He was running the show in 2014. We're in 2020, and he hasn't produced anything. Which honestly, if you judge the development time of games this gen, like it takes 4 to 5 years to put out some of these masterpieces. Xbox hasn't put out a masterpiece in it. It seems every single one of their newer releases, outside of like known franchises like Gears, there's some type of a problem. Sea of Thieves launched in a very bare bones state. State of Decay 2, same thing. Look at stuff like Crackdown 3, that game that should have stayed on the 360. Things like that. That's what worries me. And when Phil Spencer says scale balance cancellation is good for gamers, how does he know that? Like, compared to what? Because he hasn't shown us what scale bound being canceled and why it was good for gamers.
Yeah, I don't know. What gets me about Microsoft in general when it comes to gaming is that this is a side project for them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Microsoft's never made any money off of gaming.
No, they haven't.
It's always been a money pit, and they use it as some sort of like tax write-off. So that's why they keep on doing it, because I mean, obviously there's huge profits in some departments, and then other departments like Xbox you can keep around because tax purposes. And I feel like they'll never take it seriously because of that.
Well, that's because
what I'm saying?
And
right.
Bella. I'll let you go. I'll speak on that after.
No, I'm just saying, it's like I mean, they have enough here so they can justify staying within the console space, but I feel like the lack of identity, the lack of direction and all of that is not going to be addressed, and it's not going to be fixed, because I mean, it's serious enough for them to keep the department around, but not so serious where it's an actual focus of theirs. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, and it came down to, if most people don't know that, for a while now, before Game Pass, Satya Nadella was going to basically, he was talking about shutting down Xbox
That's right.
as a company. And Phil Spencer literally made a deal with him. I don't know what Phil Spencer did. There's some funny jokes out there, but he made a deal with him.
Oh, God.
He made a deal with him that, they would have to incorporate, because one of the things most people don't know is, like, back in the day, you bought Office. Now you subscribe to Office, and Microsoft is making a killing off of that. So they're on the whole subscription thing. So so Phil Spencer had to come up with something and say, hey, we can still do this. Give me one more chance. We can make this happen. And that's what he did. He came up with Game Pass, and right now it seems like it's a good thing. But one of the things I always say in the world of business, you cannot go off of first year, second year numbers of anything, because there was nothing year over year growth to compare to.
The thing is, if it came down to subscriptions, it's like you've had a Xbox Live subscription service for how long now?
15 plus years. Yeah.
15 plus years, and it always costed money.
Right. And that's the whole thing. I wouldn't be surprised if the reason why they came up with Game Pass was because of that. Because every single business industry, it's becoming less and less about particular sales on stuff and more about engagement and reoccurring revenue. So they, instead of having, let's just say, 20 people buy a $200 Microsoft Office plan, they'd rather 120 people purchase like a $50 annual subscription. And then if they get more people invested in that year over year, that's what they want to see. Which is why, if y'all have noticed, Microsoft has not been reporting game sales. They haven't been reporting everything. They're reporting all of these statistics to really fluff up those numbers. Like State of Decay 2, 6,000 people ate 50 million snacks this quarter. Like things like stuff that doesn't matter. But for the people in business, they view that as, engagement. And then when you start monetizing those things, that's where you can get into that predatory territory. But again, to what you said, Takun, about how you think that they're kind of missing the whole point, which is indicative of a bigger problem. Xbox doesn't really have an identity. Nintendo is Nintendo, Sony is Sony, or should I say PlayStation is PlayStation. Xbox is been relegated to that console that you pick up because your friends have it, or because you've been gaming with it for like 3 generations, which isn't a problem. You know, if you've grown to love Xbox and the ecosystem, because there's a lot of good things about it. I love playing on the One X. I love everything about that. But as a whole, I'm trying to think of a game that defines Xbox. Halo, but you know, the last one really wasn't that great. Whereas Nintendo and PlayStation just keep pumping out all of these games that give value to the platform. Like it or not, people always say, I hate exclusives. Exclusives don't matter. Exclusives sell, and they get people to buy the game. Sure, they don't sell on the levels of Grand Theft Auto 5 or Call of Duty every year, but the fact that you have those on your platform gives people incentive to keep them. So,
Yeah, you brought up something really interesting that didn't, I guess, cross my mind. Is that if we look at the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch right now, we could list off, I mean, we could be sitting here all day listing off the modern classics that both Sony and Nintendo's own first party has put out.
oh hell yeah, you know, Uncharted, God of War, Last of Us, Dark Cloud's favorite game, Life of Black Tiger. So many great
What?
games.
That was not a Sony exclusive.
Yeah.
that was your game though. Your company pimped it out.
I've never even downloaded that thing.
But you get the point. It's like
you bought it.
this generation, can we list a single, like I said, modern classic from the Xbox One?
Oh, Gears. You can say Gears.
Well, you can say Gears, but
You know, it's like
Gears
hold on.
is the same as 360.
but
So
I get what Taku's going to go with this. We
Yeah.
have to second guess
I
ourselves.
mean, we could say Gears on the 360 days for sure, but are we talking Gears on Xbox One? Like that's a modern classic?
Nah, that didn't come out till 360.
No, I'm saying
if we're talking
Xbox
about
One, not original Xbox. And I hate the
Okay.
fucking name, and I have to clarify this.
okay, so if I'm being real, I would say the modern classics that debuted on Xbox, they're not exclusive, mind you, but games like Cuphead and Ori, but those are 2 games coming from independent studios that have now migrated onto the Nintendo Switch. And some would go so far as to say they found better success on the Switch. So I can't think of those games like, yo, Fire Emblem 3 Houses or Spider-Man. Like Xbox, like you
Even
have
today,
to.
when you think of like Crash Bandicoot, you think of Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Xbox needs to find. I'm giving them a task. You need to find your 3 modern classics. 3 modern classics,
Halo.
and that's enough to justify.
Halo.
I mean, Halo, but you heard Neo is like the recent Gears and Halo. Like, I mean, they were good, but they weren't on the same level
Well, you
as
can't see
like-
their sales anymore because people use the narrative like, oh, it's on Game Pass.
I'm not using sales, I'm using quality. The games that make you want to go, yes, I need the system to play this one game because it looks that good. Xbox doesn't have that.
And that's the thing,
Not this
because
generation.
for me, like, yeah, for my Xbox, there's not a game where I go, yo, I really want to play it. For me, the best way I could describe the Xbox One X is that it's an amazing platform to play games that doesn't have the games to sell it. And that's the sad truth, you know? Like playing games on it is great, it's fast, it's smooth, but I just don't have those games.
It's a damn shame.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
talking about?
Microsoft in a nutshell. But they can change all of that. But
Like exactly.
something that Major Nelson said, or no, actually Matt Booty, that scared the crap out of me when he said it. Matt Booty is one of the guys over at Microsoft. He tends to have like a lot of things to say, but he's professional. He's not like.
I mean, with a name like Matt Booty, I mean, your whole life.
Yeah,
you gotta make up for
hey,
all
hey.
the
You
time.
can't start with nobody.
Exactly.
You,
He coming for that smoke regardless.
Yeah, but
you
said
can't be going for
something-
that smoke. That's your superior over there, right? Chill.
Okay. I'm sorry. He cuts my checks, y'all.
Respect your chain of command.
I'm sorry. It's insubordination. Contract terminated.
So one thing he said that that really bothered me when he was talking about the studios that Microsoft purchased, he said a line, and I'll have to look up I quote, but he literally said that the studios are not there to make AAA games. They're there to make AA games so that they can pump out AA games on Game Pass. And I don't like that. I don't like that statement.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate here, being the resident Xbox guy, as y'all call me.
Oh man.
So when we get down to it, there's this big stigma about AAA versus single A versus AA. And I think that stigma needs to go away because a lot of people assume if a game is AA, that automatically means that it's bad. No, AA just comes down to the funding thrown into that. In fact, some of the best games still being released today would be considered AA by the budget of them. So I don't necessarily think that's a problem. However, that being said, to me, it sounds a little bit like, okay, we're using this. The only way we can justify spending all this money on Game Pass and then giving all these games away, not for free, but on the subscription, and then buying all these studios, this is the amount of money we're going to allocate for them to work on those pet projects. And as we've seen with Bleeding Edge and Ninja Theory, yes, we know it was a pet project of theirs. Only 20 people worked on it. But if you're trying to have the next big like type of character shooter, arena brawler, whatever you want to call the genre, and then you look at that and how the game's performing, I don't want them just because they can work on those type of experiences to give them a AA budget. I want them to actually utilize the AA budget and give us those good games. They don't have to have like crazy 4K assets and textures and look realer than life, but if they can have smaller experiences, like let's just say Obsidian, let's say they work on Outer Worlds 2 and it has like the budget of a Bethesda game. You know, I would love for them to have a smaller, more focused AA experience, but it's got to be good. So Matt Booty, when he comes out and he says that, I don't like the wording. It sounds scary.
All right, so I'll play what he said right quick.
Of game that we are looking for from the studios that we've acquired recently, which are, they're not going to be 90-hour AAA games, but what they are going to be are things that are super well crafted, that will have as close to AAA production values as we get, but we're going to scope them so that they can be done well by a smaller studio. So I think that, to me, the magic of Hellblade, of game that we are looking.
Yeah, so that's basically what he said in a nutshell. So they're not going to be like expensive AAA games. They're going to be mainly like smaller studios making AA games and indies for Game Pass. So it could mean a whole bunch of things. But like for instance, we can't think like AAA. There are a lot of AA games that end up being fantastic. And the way I look at AA and AAA games, it's budgets. A AAA game has a specific amount of budget. A AA game has a specific amount of budget. Like skate games are not AAA budget, but those games are the best skating games I've ever played. So I get where you're going with this, Neo. And now that I'm actually looking back at it, it definitely we'll have to wait and see. But if what he's talking about is games like no, I can't say Bugsnax because that's a Sony thing. Grounded. I'm gonna be very scared because while Grounded is very well crafted and it's a smaller studio, I don't like it.
Looking kind of spooky. Like for them, I think when they mentioned Hellblade, that's like the golden standard of a AA experience, which would be cool if we get games not necessarily in the same vein of Hellblade, but on that level. I would love to see it, but I just seeing what we've gotten so far, that kind of bugs me because I was thinking like, yo, Microsoft investing in all these studios, maybe that'll mean like, yo, the Coalition can do something different and 343 can do something different and you know, all these other studios can do something different because that's what we need. We don't need a Gears studio and a Forza studio and a Halo studio. If they want to make those games, fine, but as we've seen, making a studio dedicated to just one game, it's just given us more of the same, and I'm not a fan of that.
Pokemon.
Oh, you talking about the okay, we're not gonna get into that. We'll be nice.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's like you start coming out of fresh ideas.
One other thing I wanted to say about something that was said by Phil Spencer. Microsoft says that the the Xbox it says Xbox Series won't have exclusive titles, first party games at launch. For the first 2 years, everything that they're coming out with is going to be for Xbox One X and then ported over to Series X, but nothing exclusively designed for the Series X. So, yeah, everybody's got to wait. But what are these studios doing, man? It's going to be 5 years soon.
Yep. Honestly, I mean, if we're talking about these studios, like let's just say 343. Obviously, we know they've been working on Halo Infinite, but not only that, they've been working to salvage the Master Chief Collection. That's been a generation-long endeavor, and now they've put it on PC, and we still got to wait for those versions. God, it's been a lot. Like for all of their studios, the only ones that have been consistent with hitting their deadlines and their target goals have been the Coalition, Turn 10, and Playground Games. They've been putting out Forza and Gears. You know, everybody else, unless they were a smaller indie studio, they were always hit with delays and some type of a pushback. So I don't really see like all these studios that he's talking about. I would hope for them to have their games out within the first year of the Series X. But when we're still talking about like all these studios still hiring for the projects, it's just I mean, I think there's a reason why they said you're not going to get any games you can't play on the One X or the One for at least 2 years, because I don't think it's a case of, hey, we're just trying to transition people over. It's a case of, shit, we don't know when these games are going to be out. Oh, not by 2020? Okay, 2022.
Yeah. So that goes into is it worth it to jump into the Series X the first year it launches?
Well, I would say if you're somebody who's already into the Xbox ecosystem, you've been gaming with it, you have the One, you bought the One X, things like that, I would say jump in, if only for a lot of the quality of life improvements, because as I'm sure y'all have seen, Microsoft has been very transparent. The Xbox Series X, the suspend resume function, just the speed and the performance of the console and just the way they upscale all their games, the technology is great on the console. But if there aren't enough differences available at launch in their versions of the games, like if Halo Infinite on the Xbox Series X is not a drastic improvement by comparison to the One X, I think it's going to be a hard sell for some people. Maybe for newcomers to the ecosystem, they might enjoy it because then they have like a whole big back catalog of games to play. But for a lot of people out there who have just already been gaming and they want the next big thing from Microsoft, I think the Series X is just going to be more of what you played, but better. So, I don't necessarily. Wait, hold on a second. What are you talking about, Dark Cloud? Oh my God! So this dude, Dark Cloud, is trying to say that Major Nelson sent me these talking points. If Major Nelson sent me these talking points, why would I come on here and say, "Yo, this man Dark Cloud"? I ain't trying to,
Yo, you're a very intellectual guy. I just haven't